Okay, so I'm going to say at the beginning, the code is 82011. So this is the code for the Slido. If you have a question, you go to the same website, 82011. I think that there's one additional one at the end of this last 9 number. And inshallah, post your question. And with that, inshallah, I'll keep it short because tomorrow is a school day and a lot of the students are, inshallah, have to wake up for Sahari and also for school. So I keep it short, inshallah. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين بالقاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المكرمين سيما بقية الله في السماوات والأراضين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والتين والزيتون وطور السينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل السافلين. So last night we talked about the last juz or the last part of the Quran is containing short and small chapters, and each of them have their own essential message. It has one specific message, which is the entire chapter is about that concept. For example, when we look at Surah Shams, the concept of tazkiyah, self-purification, is the center of that surah. When you look at Surah Duha, for example, the center of that is the blessing of Allah with our Prophet. That is the core of that surah. And when it comes to Surah Teen, after 3 oaths, as we discussed last night, it's a Makki surah, has 8 verses. It means it was revealed in Mecca. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses with 3 oaths and qasam. Speaking of qasam is that when you use the name of Allah, that is in Arabic terminology, when you swear by something, that is the oath. And it could be used in different ways. Sometimes with adding the word waw at the beginning of the name of Allah, wallah, it becomes a qasam. Sometimes it could be by adding the word of ba at the beginning, billah, tallah. There are different ways of it. But is that you, before God, you mention the name of God to support your claim. That's the reason we use qasam. And sometimes it is to oblige yourself to do something. So let's say if doing something, it's optional, it's not required. Some individual, they use qasam to oblige themselves on that. So I want to be forced that tomorrow I'm going to help my mom. So I say, I swear to Allah, tomorrow I will do this. And by the way, they mentioned Mother's Day is today. May Allah, inshallah, honor all the mothers who are alive, inshallah, with the health and well-being, and Allah maintain their presence in our lives, and those who passed away, may Allah bless their soul. But it is the idea of obliging ourselves or not. But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use an oath, it's the reason to emphasize on what is coming. So we don't usually, we should not, as a human being, we should not use qasam as much as is possible, right? As much as is possible, don't use qasam. Even if you use a qasam for something that is true. If the qasam, God forbid, is a lie, if it's a lie, then it's a great sin. If I use a qasam and I use an oath for a lie, that is a great sin, right? But when it comes to opposite of that, even if it's truth is makruh, even if it's truth, it still is better not to use that qasam. And why is that? Because the idea is that if you're saying the truth, there's no need for the qasam to be used to begin with, right? If you're in court, if it is a matter of, saving someone's life, if it's a necessity, then use qasam. But in English, they said it should be and it must be the last resort. We should not use it as something easily accessible. So, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, qasam is to talk about the importance of something. So Allah said first, وَالتِّينِ وَالزَّيْتُونِ, I swear by the fig and the olive. And it's interesting, these two fruits, in general, fruits in Quran are highly focused on as a gift of God. That even today we know a lot of doctors, they say, what is one of the best thing to have in your dietary plan every day? Fruits, right? Any kind of fruit in general, because compared with any other food that we have out there, fruits, they are the most helpful when it comes to nutrition. But there's certain fruits that Quran focus on and their name is being mentioned. For example, we have pomegranate, we have grapes in Quran, we have apple, and then we have olive, date, and similar words. And again, let's stop debating if date is a fruit or not. Let's say whatever you call it. But it's been mentioned in Quran. But the word fig was used once in Quran, and that is in this surah, teen. Once in Quran. But zaytun, 7 times. In other chapters, we have the word zaytun. It's some tafsir that said it could be about the location that these fruits are very common. For example, when it comes to teen, fig, it is common to grow in an area in south of modern day Syria and northern Iraq, which they say that it is the location of the Mount Judi. Mount Judi is the mountain that Nuh alayhi salam, when his ark landed, it landed on the mountain Judi. So when they say teen, it could be a reference to the place that was used to have a lot of figs growing, which could be Mount Judi. Was zaytun is, of course, could be about the zaytun itself, the olive, and also the place that is well known for olive, and that is Palestine. And that is basically the place of hundreds of prophets of God, including Prophet Isa and Prophet Musa alayhi salam, and of course, Masjidul Aqsa, right? Or they call it when we talk about Masjidul Aqsa, usually the picture that people look at, that's not Masjidul Aqsa. That's they call it the Dome of Rock. That's what it is known for. Masjid al-Aqsa is further. It doesn't have that golden, basically the golden shrine, as you can see. So, but Masjid al-Aqsa is one of the most sacred masajid according to Islam. We have Masjid al-Nabi, and then we have Masjid al-Aqsa, and then we have Masjid al-Kufa. These are some of the very, very highly sacred masjids. So it could be about another location. So when we say وَالتِّينِ وَالزَّيْتُونَ, Allah using an oath to the place of these fruits and the fruits themselves, both of them, to show the importance of these places. And then we go to second ayah, which is another location. So we end up with having multiple locations Allah is mentioning. And I want to get one lesson and finish my speech with that. I don't want to keep it long. So the first, as I said, according to tafsir, the first ayah, I swear by the fig and the olive, could be about the place as well. So Allah is swearing to the location of them. The second one is about Mount Sinai. وَالطُّورِ سِنِينَ. The word tur, the word tur sinin, it's not an Arabic word. It came from Hebrew. It was derived directly from Hebrew, because in English even today they call it Mount Sinai. Sinin, Sinai. And in Quran is also being addressed in 2 different ways. One here was said Tur Sinin, and another one Sinai. So in 2 different ways. And it is about the place that Musa alayhi salam spoke with God. That is when Torah was revealed. So it's another location, it's another mountain. Tur Sinin, Allah said, I swear my oath to the Mount Sinai, where Musa alayhi salam received Torah and spoke to God. And the third location وَهَذَا الْبَلَدِ الْأَمِينَ. I swear by this entrusted and safe city, which it is Mecca. Why is Mecca? Because even before Islam, Mecca was considered a sacred place even for idol worshippers. Anybody who was around Kaaba, they would not involve in any war and any dispute. Even for them, it has that respect. When did this came from? According to Quran, it comes from the Ibrahim alayhi salam. When Ibrahim prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, Ya Allah, make this city, هذا البلد آمنا. Make this city to be a city of amn. Amn means safe, secure. And that tradition of Ibrahim stayed next to Kaaba even after people lost their path and started worshipping idols, but that thing stayed with Mecca. That thing stayed with Kaaba. That people will consider the boundaries of Kaaba to be a place of safety. So let's say if there was a war between two tribes, and they would come and see each other next to the Kaaba, they would not start and initiate a war. And after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even after that Rasulullah started his mission, his prophethood, that is state. And that's why we have the entire surah. The entire surah. The word balad, by the way, balad in Arabic, it refers to a city that has limits. There's some cities that you don't know exactly where they finish, where they end. But in Arabic language, there are different words for city. But balad specifically is boundaries, has limits. It refers to a city that has boundaries, has limits. And we have the entire chapter called balad, the city, which again specifically talks about Mecca. لا أقسم بهذا البلد وأنت حل بهذا البلد. So it said, and here is another. Allah used again Kaaba and Mecca as an area that Allah said, وَهَذَا الْبَلَدِ الْأَمِينَ. But this word, the word Amin was added, which Amin, as I said, it means secure, safe. But the word Amin means trustworthy too, right? Trustworthy. Why that safe and trustworthy are connected? Because when you say somebody's trustworthy, be sure that your thing, your amanat is safe with them. So that's the reason the word Amin and Amn are deriving from the same word. The root is the same thing. But the lesson of this three oath is about Allah using three location to use qasam by. And this is important that sometimes there are specific locations that they are sacred. Everywhere on earth, if you call Allah, Allah will hear you. Everywhere. But there are specific places that they are special. And your du'as there will be different. It will be different. That's the reason we have, for example, if somebody go to Masjid and pray, or their house, the thawab of praying in Masjid is higher. God is the same God, but location is not the same location. And all these three places, it is important that you know why they become sacred. All of the three. So Watine was Zaytun, if you go to Palestine area. Palestine became sacred. Masjid al-Aqsa became sacred because of the prophets of God. Because of people. That place became holy. A prophet of God lived there, preached there, died there. That's the reason it's a sacred land. When you talk about Tur Sinin, Mount Sinai, why Mount Sinai is sacred? Because Musa spoke there with God, received revelation. It's not even buried there. He just went and came back. Musa is not buried in Mount Sinai. But it still is holy. And Allah used a qasam by. And when even he comes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Musa, فَخْلَعْ عَلَيْكَ إِنَّكَ بِالْوَادِ الْمُقَدَّسِ. This is a sacred land. Take off your shoes. You're coming to Mount Sinai. It is a mountain like every other mountain, but it's a specific place. So when people say Karbala is like any other land, it's not a big deal. You know, what's the difference? Big deal. You know, what's the difference? Why you go to Medina? Why you go to Baqi? Why you go to all these places? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used Palestine If you say Hazrat Zahra and Imam Sadiq, which they are buried, Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, Imam Muhammad buried in Baqi cemetery, they live much more recent compared with Isa alayhi salam and the prophets of God in Masjid al-Aqsa area. But that was a sacred land. And when we talk about Mount Sinai, it's not even Musa buried there, but he went there once. He spoke once there with God. And it still is sacred that Allah said, وَطُورِ السِّنِينَ, I swear by this location. وَهَذَا الْبَلَدِ الْأَمِينَ, why Mecca? Go all the way to Ibrahim alayhi salam. That because of that person, that he built this place and asked Allah to make this place to be secure, to be entrusted. So people give value to location. You know, mountain of Nur, Ghar Hira, the cave of Hira, where the Prophet received the revelation. It is not a, it was a normal mountain, but it is the place of receiving revelation. And this is that going back to that ideology who denounce any form of honoring these holy locations. So no, it's not permissible to go to the mountain of Hira. Just don't go there. Go to the other places. But I said, no, Quran says that if it was a place that Musa spoke with God, it has a sacred respect. Why mountain of Nur should not have? Why not? That's where the first verse of Quran was revealed to our Prophet. And if it was in the hand of Muslims, if it was, we would have kept it away that for Muslim to be accessible for Muslims. And we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that one day comes that we understand that people give values to places. Karbala have no value without Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Nothing. The Karbala's value come from Abu Abdullah and Hussein. This is important to know. Any other place is the same thing. That when a person, which is the man of God, they go somewhere and they start the name of Allah, preaching in the name of Allah, you can make that place a sacred place. That's the reason you can build a masjid in America and Antarctica, anywhere in the world. That place become a sacred place, is a masjid. May Allah inshallah give us the tawfiq to get the chance to learn more from the message of Quran and from Surah Teen, inshallah. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Okay, I did not get any question. If you have any question, I have some from last night. I'll finish, just give me a heads up by 9:45, inshallah. So I did not get any for tonight. Let me just check one more time. Nothing. So from last night, I have some question. Let me just answer those.